Do you actually need the flagship S26, or is this brand new Samsung Galaxy A57 the smarter buy? Now, just for the fun of this video, I'm going to be doing half of it with the phone submerged in water. I asked you guys a while ago on Shorts, what do you want to see about the Galaxy A57? And you said, Stefan, we want to know, is the Galaxy A57 any good with gaming? What's its actual battery life like? Can you use these cameras? Is the A57's cameras any good? What's the thermals like? Does it overheat? Any bloatware on it? And also, if I use this in broad daylight, is it any good? We're going to be running through all of those in today's video, and I'm going to be convincing you why spending your money on a flagship might not be the smartest choice in 2026. This is an in-depth review of the Samsung Galaxy A57 that just launched. I honestly think the most important answer you're going to be getting from this video is whether you're going to regret it if you buy the A57 and not the flagship. These are all very valid concerns. I hear you on it, because the weird thing is the new Samsung Galaxy A range just doesn't quite feel like a budget phone anymore. It doesn't look like a budget phone. It's not built like a budget phone. It's got a 120 Hz AMOLED screen. The cameras look genuinely good, especially when you record in normal lighting conditions. It feels much closer to an A series than you'd expect, even though on paper it looks worse. Budget phones only really tend to show you their weaknesses later on in their lifespans though. When the storage fills up, when the battery is low, when you try to game on it for more than 10 minutes, that's when this thing falls apart. Or at least that's where the old ones used to fall apart. Samsung has to save their money somewhere or convince you somehow to buy the flagship devices. So let me start with the performance, because that's the most obvious gap in the market. Now, a quick disclaimer before we get into this video. This is the 8GB of RAM version instead of the 12GB one. So this is the worst case scenario. It's perfectly fine as it is from testing it, but I would recommend getting the 12GB version if you can. When it comes to the average day-to-day experience, like having a bunch of apps open at the same time and trying to switch between all of them, it was really smooth, really a joy to work with. Worlds better than the A6 and the A16 I looked at earlier last year. The only place I really noticed that this isn't an Ace series was in very demanding stuff, like high-end gaming. Take Enfield, for example. It's not an easy game to run by any means, but low settings, I had no issue. I pretty much hit 60 frames per second consistently. And if I wasn't feeling that graphics, I could kick it up to medium, sacrificing some frames and some stability, but still getting a pretty consistent 30 to 40 frames per second. Now, maxing this thing out, trying to push its GPU to the limits, that's where it will fall apart. It's not an Ace series. So ultra high graphics is not going to be a thing in gaming, but it does really well with gaming. Now, you guys were curious about heat. How hot does this thing get under load? It's an important thing to know, because when it gets too hot, the performance decreases and it's uncomfortable to hold. Pushing this thing to its max for 20 minutes only yielded a 40 degrees Celsius, at least to my thermometer. Giving it the old finger test, it was warm but not uncomfortable to hold. And what's more important is the performance did not dip, even after hours of gaming. Yes, hours, because the battery life on here actually surprised me. The day NTE came out, I played it for 6 hours and 15 minutes on a single charge. And I'm not talking low brightness, battery saver, get the most out of the settings. Everything I could have maxed out was maxed out. Now, for more conventional battery tests, I just didn't go there. I didn't put it in a dark room playing YouTube, like in this perfect situation. No. I took it into real world scenarios, scrolling TikTok, taking photos, playing games over lunch. You should see around 14 hours of proper use. And I'm willing to bet if you're extremely stingy with your settings, this could be a 2-day phone. But I would comfortably say a full day with a little bit left over when you go to bed. Another very important thing to look at is the cameras, because that is what sells flagships. Flagships convince you you need the S26 Ultra because the A57's camera just won't be good enough. Now, you can argue in perfect lighting situations the gap isn't that big, but it really is quite a bit bigger than you would think it is. Am I saying it's terrible? Absolutely not. Samsung put in a lot of effort to make these cameras way better than last year, and it absolutely is. I believe 90% of people will be more than happy with this. The low light issues have been pretty much fixed thanks to the new added night mode. Videos, specifically on the main sensor, look decent and the camera is really snappy, without that massive delay when you used to click the record button. The front camera is where a lot of it falls apart. That's where you see when it's a budget phone or when it isn't. This is only a deal breaker if you live on video calls, and even then, this is good enough. But I'll just let the camera speak for itself. I think the 10% of people that won't be happy here are the people who rely on their cameras for their business, or photographers and influencers who are really super picky with the phones they choose and the photos they choose. It's waterproof. Well, water resistant, IP68 rated, which is great. This thing can stay in here for 30 minutes, apparently, with no issues. We're about to test that in this video. You're not gonna watch this video for 30 more minutes though. That I can guarantee you. Don't have that much to say. Please subscribe. Thank you. Anyways, moving on. Of course, it's 2026, so they have a bunch of AI things all over the place, but buried between the gimmicky stuff, there's a bunch of actually useful things. Like, for example, Best Face is a feature that basically takes a recording video of all of the people in your photo, use the best facial angle that each one of them have, and then generate a photo where all of your friends look at the same time and look their best. This is great for people who always close their eyes during photos, or for people that just aren't that photogenic. And if you don't like them there, you can just completely remove them with the circle tool. Now lastly, I want to speak about the boring stuff, which is somehow also the most important stuff. It's the practical things. Once the new phone hype is over, the things that make or break the phone. The build quality. No plastic, full aluminium frame, the back is glass, the front is Gorilla Glass Victus Plus. It's also rated IP68, like I just showed you, so you don't have to worry about getting it wet. You can maybe make some coffee, and don't make coffee with it. That's a bad idea. The one thing is daylight visibility. So if you're outside in the sunshine and you're trying to work on your phone, I would have appreciated a screen that gets a little bit brighter than this, especially if you're in direct sunlight. And lastly, I want to touch on what performance is like when your storage is full, because this is usually where budget phones start to suffer. Surprisingly, it didn't slow down much. Now, I did only fill the storage with random files, so there's no weird update conflicts or any old software running in the background, but it's still a big improvement over the A series phones, because we all know that that's where they really used to struggle, especially in the long term. Maybe Samsung's planning a little bit of a longer lifespan here for these ones. We're also getting 6 years of security updates, so I can only hope this thing is planned to last a little bit longer. So back to our main question. Would you, watching this video right now, regret it if you bought the A57 instead of the S26? For most normal people, no, you won't. But there's a big but, and I cannot lie. If you're the kind of person that actually pushes this device to its limits, like gaming on ultra settings, filming long 4K videos, or relying on cameras for serious content creation, then that's where the S26 or even the S26 Ultra would make a lot more sense. If you're willing to pay double, sometimes even triple. Now that's for you to decide, but I'm genuinely impressed. If you're looking for the best deal on this, please don't get yourself the 8GB version. Spend a little bit more, get the 12GB version. I'll leave some links down below in the description for the best deals I can find. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please subscribe. This is We Do Tech, spending the money, sometimes wasting it, so you don't have to. See you in the next one. Cheers, bye.